during our meeting.
Okay.
Joe,
What's that?
during our meeting,
What?
he died.
All right, at this time, we will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Val, please call the roll.
Commissioner Penny, Commissioner Curry,
Here.
Commissioner Danio,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson,
Here.
Mayor Villa.
Here, and at this time, I'll remind everybody to silence their cell phones or any electronic devices that make noise. And I'll ask you to please join us in the invocation of Commissioner Johnson and continue standing after for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, tonight, I would just like to take the time to thank God for all He does for us. He does so much for us. And anyone that doesn't believe it, just look around you because you can see it everywhere. And I really thank God for all He does for me, for all He does for all of our family members and all the friends we have. And I thank you, God, for everything. And I ask you to give us wisdom, knowledge, ability, strength, and energy to deal with every situation, handle everything as it comes, and always do what's in your will. And we ask in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, our risen Savior. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. So this time we'll move to public comments. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the commission about anything not on our regular agenda tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public comments and we'll move to the approval of the minutes from July 27th, 2021 budget workshop and July 27th, 2021 regular city commission meeting. Can I have a motion for approval?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Johnson, a second from Commissioner Danio. Would anybody in the audience like to speak to the minutes tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now moving to our consent agenda. There's one item on the consent agenda. Would any commissioner like to remove this item? This action proposed is stated for each item on the consent agenda. Unless the city commissioner removes an item from the consent agenda, no discussion on individual items will occur, and a single motion will approve all items. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this item on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll close public participation and entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion for approval from Commissioner Curry and a second from Commissioner Johnson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to our regular agenda. Number 1, Resolution 2021-R-49. Mr. Simpson.
Resolution number 2021-R-49 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, establishing certain fees, decreasing certain fees, and increasing certain existing fees for various services, permits, and certificates provided by the city, and increasing water and sewer rates by 5.5% for the next fiscal year, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simpson. Mr. Forte?
You wanted to
Yes.
discuss a couple of items on that. Did you get logged in there, Mayor?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Is there just the one item I could bring up?
Yeah, we can bring that up. I just didn't know if you wanted to bring Stella up to go over it or not.
Well, it's really not Stella's
Okay.
completely hers. It's all the
True.
departments that have, they reviewed all of their fees, and they've all made recommendations. Stella assembled it. The one thing that's important for you to know and the public to know is that the water and sewer rate increase, that was actually, we're in a multi-year increase for the water and sewer rates, and that was advertised, I think, 2 years ago when we had the study done. So that was already publicly advertised, and that rate was adopted at that time. So when you're looking at rate resolution, that fee resolution that increases the water and sewer rate, it's already been properly advertised, and we're just implementing this year a ministerial adjustment for that. All the others are have been vetted through the staff in comparison with what some of the other cities are charging for similar services. And you wanted to talk a little bit about when somebody doesn't obtain a permit. We have two areas in there. One is when a contractor does not obtain a permit, And in that case, we're charging $250 for the first offense and $500 for the second offense, plus double the permit fee. In another area, it talks about when a homeowner that's doing work on their own house doesn't get a permit. And in that case, we had language in there that states that it would be double the permit fee or $200, whichever is higher. You know, most of these permits can range very high. They can range in the hundreds of dollars, which not a lot of homeowners are doing that, but they could range in the lower $80, $50 range, and doubling the permit may be $100. So I know, Mayor, you said the $200 might be a little steep for a residential homeowner, and unless you have another number.
Well, so when we had the workshop on this, we discussed this, and I think we all agree that there's a problem with contractors, people
Right.
that know what they're doing, that they need to come to the city for, to acquire a permit before doing the work. And I do agree with going forward with that, with the $250 fee, being that these licensed people know for a fact they have to come and do it, plus the 2 times
Right.
the permit fee.
And then $500 for additional offenses.
But then I brought up about, I want to make sure that residential people that aren't, maybe not so aware, that are doing minor work that may require a permit, they do something, they get caught, they get slapped with $200 when it was a $35 permit fee over something minor. So that, because I already get calls about, someone doing this or that, they get caught, oh, I didn't know, now I got to pay $60, $70, $80. And that's a lot of money for them, obviously, doing a small thing. And so I thought this commission, we talked about it, and we agreed that we would leave that out for residential people, but then also have that in there, the fine for the contractors that should know better. So what I would like to see in this is to actually remove that out of this fee resolution, remove the penalty for residential, well, keep it as it is.
Leave it at 2.5.
I'm sorry, two times the
2
permit
times
fee,
the-
because there has to be
penalty.
some consequence to it, but I don't want it to be punitive to the people, so. Mr.
You're saying 2 times the permit fee for the resident,
Right,
up to $200 max?
No,
no,
Or not at all?
just leave the 200 out completely.
just leave it like it is,
What if it's a $125 permit fee?
And they pay double,
then they gotta pay, double, yeah.
which is what
They do
permit.
now, yeah.
Right.
So if they gotta pay $125, then they pay $250.
So we don't want to cap it at 200?
No,
I mean, right now, it's working. I mean, like I said, I still get calls about people, a small thing here or there. I mean,
I imagine it's not going to be that much.
we as a commission said it, but I do believe that there should be a penalty, for doing
Yeah,
it.
we
Otherwise,
talked about
people
that,
just
sure.
won't come in to do it at all. But I think $200, I think that'll just, that'll punish people that
need it.
are doing smaller things. So, Commissioner Curry, did you have something?
No, not at all. I'm in agreement with that, actually.
Awesome, thank you. And then there was one other question that I had. I saw that scroll into it now. The suspend account fee is moving from $10 to $15. That's under miscellaneous replacement fees. Why is that going up so small, if at all?
I'll let Stella come up and address. That's the suspending water account.
Yes, and the reactivation is going up $5, from $10 to $15.
It's
I
a
don't
small
know if-
increment, but it's still 50%.
Is it a lot of people doing it? Do we get a lot of those charges?
Yeah.
And we're wasting employee time?
You have no idea.
Stella Grenay, Finance Director. Yeah, this is for an account that, gets suspended after it's been cut off and already charged delinquent fees. So to reactivate it, we do have to go back through the deposit checking and application process. So there is a fee that the credit company charges us when we run that again. So, and that has gone up.
Okay,
so
perfect.
that's
That
what
answered
this
my
is.
question. Perfect.
I do have a question. Stella, are we actually recouping employee time and the charge that we get hit with that?
If it's not a long process for the employee time, if it's somebody that takes a long process, probably not.
And
But
that
in general, probably yes.
not usually the case.
Right, because it doesn't
Okay.
take very long.
I just wanted to
do it.
make sure we were covering ourselves.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Stella. All right. Are there any other questions for staff? All right. So at this time, we'll open this item up to the public. Would anybody in the audience like to speak on this item on the regular agenda tonight? Seeing none, we'll close public participation, and I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Mayor, I'll make a motion for approval on Resolution 2021-R-49 without the limit of $200 for the permit fee on the resident.
And just to be clear, but keep it.
But
at
keep
2
it,
times the-
yes.
Okay,
The only thing I'm asking we get rid of is the $200 limit.
great.
So you made the motion for that?
Yep.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. All right, moving to number 2, Resolution 2021-R-50. Mr. Simpson?
Resolution 2021-R-50 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, approving the piggyback of Orange County contract number Y19-1018-MW and awarding Cubix, Inc. the contract to provide Sani-Glaze restoration, Everglaze annual maintenance and quarterly scrub and rinse service for all city park restrooms, and authorize the city manager to execute the same, and providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. Mr. Forte?
So at one of our previous meetings, we discussed the conditions of the parks and the restrooms, and one of the solutions to that is a company, there are several companies that provide a seal coat for the flooring inside these restrooms. And what it is it puts on a, it's kind of a stain-free, easy-to-maintain flooring. I showed some of you what it looks like on the website. That was one company, but we're actually going with a different company. I think it's a different company. But we're going through a government contract, piggyback on it. What we're doing with this contract, we had money in the capital budget, and we have to move the money, and you'll get a budget amendment. We'll move the money from the capital item into a maintenance item, because that's technically what this is. And it's going to cost $21,037 to do the initial work in all of the restrooms in the city parks. And then there's an annual cost of $2,385, and that's for them to go in and basically resurface the floor again, do a good job at keeping it up to condition. And then there's a quarterly maintenance, and that costs $3,180 a year for them to come out quarterly and maintain it, which will then make the annuals even better. So for $3,000 a year, I think it's a good idea to have them come in and hit all of those bathroom floors, those restroom floors in all of the parks. So that's what we're looking at. We did look at a couple of different companies, but working off the government contract, I think will give us the best price for this, and it'll help clean that park up, all the parks up. In addition to that, in case you're wondering, there's still monies available in that fund that we're going to still go back and paint, replace some
Picnic tables?
picnic tables, and paint some of the
Pavilions?
pavilions.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, you know, a lot of stuff that we do up here, government stuff, takes a really long time, and it feels like we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. And so I want to applaud staff for coming back so fast with an actual solution. I was actually very, very pleasantly surprised looking at the cost of this. I was actually astounded at how low it came in. And I was wondering if they do that, the Sani-Glaze or the Everglaze, if they do that on walls as well, because I know we're only doing floors,
Yeah,
but
I
maybe
don't-
at Sunrise Park.
It's primarily a floor thing. I don't know, it's an epoxy type product that they put on the floor and they float. I would have to assume somebody would be able to apply it to walls, but
I just wonder if the because I'm specifically thinking about the Sunrise Park bathrooms, do the walls ever get, dirty?
The whole place gets dirty.
Yeah,
Why don't we do this? When they're here doing this, we'll ask them what the walls would take, and if we have to come back and make an amendment, we'll come back to the commission and make an amendment on it.
okay, all right,
At least it'll get this moving forward.
sounds good. Any other questions or comments? All right, at this time, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone? Yes, Heidi.
Hi there, I'm Heidi Heller, 460 Ridgewood Avenue. I'm really glad that we're having these bathrooms taken care of. It really does help the reputation of Holly Hill as a place to visit. I have found, though, that it really does do wondrous to go in weekly or every other day and clean my bathroom at home. So maybe we could remind the maintenance crew here to do a weekly maintenance more, because
We
doing
clean
the
those
floor-
bathrooms every day.
Pardon?
We clean those restrooms every day.
Well, I've seen a toilet paper constellation on the ceiling for quite a while now.
I'll have to make sure they look up.
So I know there's lots going on, and I know the toilets could use some acetone to get rid of the rust and clean that up a little bit. And there's some chemicals, household chemicals, that would help out a lot and make it a lot better. I really like the idea of the floor being done 4 times a year is great itself. But I would like to see a better job if he does daily. And that would be about it. The sinks and the toilets. The toilets are really bad, and they just need to be cleaned. Stainless steel cleaner, acetone, something. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Heidi. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to the commission tonight?
I'm going to get her to show us.
Seeing none, I will close public participation, and I'll entertain a motion for approval of Resolution 2021-R-50.
Motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Johnson for approval and a second from Commissioner Johnson. All those in favor,
Hey.
what's that?
Opposite.
Second from,
Oh, opposite? What did I say?
He got the first and the second.
Oh, did I say you were the
you
second?
call me for first and second.
Oh, Commissioner Daniel.
Just for the
I'm sorry. Just for the record. Just trying to confuse Val over there when you write the minutes.
Doesn't take much.
Don't want to get Val confused.
I think we got it right now. There we go. Any discussion needed? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Now moving to item 3, request for code enforcement lien reduction. And I see that we all have a new write-up. There was just a
Oh, there's more to it than that now.
address as well.
Yeah, I inadvertently put Hammock instead of Hancock when I typed that out. So the address is actually 1575 Hancock Lane, and I'll make that adjustment in here. But this is a request for a code enforcement lien reduction on the property at 1575 Hancock. It was currently owned by Crossland Mark Thomas Trust on behalf of Cheryl Baldwin. And according to the order of noncompliance from September 25th, 2019, the property's been accumulating fines for violation of the International Property Maintenance Code, number 304.7, regarding the lack of a roof permit for work performed and compliance with roofs and drainage standards. The order of lien has been applied and a special master fee of $250 plus $50 per day per violation against the property, of which 2 violations existed. The fines began accumulating on October 25th, 2019 and December 23rd, 2019 respectively. The property came into compliance on December 21st, 2020, and as of the request of the lien, as of the time of the request for a lien reduction, the amount of the lien was $21,050 plus the administrative costs. So I've calculated out the cost and added what I would typically do for a percentage of the total lien. The problem with this is I transposed 2 numbers when I put the document up. On the page that you'll see, I've corrected that. And the number should have been $2,613, but I transposed it and put $2,163. And typically I would go back to try to make that correction, but I already negotiated that with the folks representing the property, so I think it would only be right if we upheld the $2,163.73. So I would recommend that the motion would be to reduce the lien to administrative fee in the amount of $2,163.73 payable no later than 5 p.m. on September 10th, 2021. With failure to pay the lien by this date and time would cause the entire lien to remain upon the property and subject to foreclosure.
Thank you very much. And just to be clear, we only have about $250 or so,
$450.
$450
Difference.
of actual expenses. So we're still coming out.
Actual expenses, yeah, it's on there. Actual expenses, 508, it was actually 508.73 is what the actual expenses were.
Okay. And we're getting 2,100.
Yeah, so we're still in the plus on it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Are there any questions for staff? At this time, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. I'll entertain a motion for approval with the changes as stated by Mr. Forte.
I will make the motion to approve the lien reduction to the amount of $2,163.73 due, it's payable due by September 5th, 2021.
It was September 10th.
Oh, 10th, sorry.
I will second that motion.
Scratch that, 10th.
You said September 10th?
It's on the back.
I believe it's Friday.
Okay.
I will second it.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion needed?
I would just like to say that I think it's a good gesture on the city. Every time we consider a lien reduction, that our main goal isn't to, like Joe said in the past, isn't to make money, it's to get our city in compliance. And the way he operates with his calculator, and even if he gets the numbers wrong sometimes,
Sometimes.
I think it's a good gesture, so, just for that. So.
I agree. Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now moving to our public hearing. Number one, ordinance 2021-0-3041. Mr. Simpson?
Mayor, I have to abstain
Oh,
from,
yes,
I have
yes.
to abstain
yeah.
from the vote on this.
You have to leave, right?
And I don't have to leave, but I'm going to.
Oh. You need help getting out of the chair?
I'm going to leave, and I'm going to abstain from the vote because I'm the applicant and the property owner on this project, and so I just need to make sure there's no conflict of interest on my part, so I'm just going to leave so I can not influence anyone.
Thank you, Commissioner
You can
Johnson.
call me back in when it's done.
Yes, sir. And we'll be ready for closing comments, so you can think about what you want to say back there.
Ordinance number 2021-0-3041 by title only for second and final reading. An ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, amending the land development regulations by rezoning the parcel described in Exhibit A from CC1 Commercial Corridor District to BPUD Business Plan Unit Development, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Val, as Brian goes through this, will you pull up the aerial view of the property so we can see where it's located, and then the actual site plan so they can see what it looks like?
You want this one first?
No, the location, the map, kind of.
Okay, it looks like they're together.
The C, go to C, BPUD site plan.
Yeah, that's one.
No, I think if you go down, the ones that are in color, it just gives you those right there. Kind of gives everybody an idea of where it's located initially, and then we'll go to the actual site plan. That's good.
Can the see these both at the same time? Is that good?
No, that's fine.
All right, Brian, the floor is yours.
Mayor, City Commission. This parcel is 1137 South Nova Road. It's Zone CC1, which is Commercial Corridor, and the applicant is requesting to rezone it to a business planned unit development. And they're doing that in order to develop a recreational vehicle and a boat storage facility in conjunction with a sports facility at the same site. The reason why they're requesting a business plan unit development as opposed to a straight zoning such as CC1, B3, B4 is in order to allow new uses and provide some flexibility with regard to the parking standards that could not be achieved under the straight zoning district. So in your staff report, there is a site analysis. There's also an analysis of the surrounding zoning that is in the area. And previously, through staff's analysis, the request is found to be consistent with the land development regulations and appropriate for the area. And the comprehensive plan also finds that this project is consistent with those rules, regulations, and policies. So other than from the first reading, staff doesn't have anything really to add. There have been no modifications since the first presentation. So based on that, staff recommends that the City Commission adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from CC1, Commercial Corridor, and BPUD, Business Plan Unit Development, and the associated development agreement and preliminary plan for approximately 2.38 acres located on the east side of Nova Road South, approximately 375 feet south of Gulf Avenue, and more specifically known as 1137 South Nova Road.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walker. Any questions for staff? All right, thank you very much. And the applicant is here. Do you have anything to add at this point? No. All right, thank you. With that, we will open this up to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the commission on this item tonight? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and entertain a motion for approval of ordinance 2021-0-3041.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve said ordinance.
We need a second from you.
Guess it's me.
Big man, come
I
on.
make a second.
There we go. We have a motion.
The only one left.
The only one left.
We have a motion and a second to approve it. Just to make a quick comment, Harry Newkirk is here, and you did a really wonderful job on what you did for Flight next door. And looking through the plans here, you did another amazing job, and it's going to look really cohesive throughout that whole area. So I just wanted to give you a public tip of the cap. You did a good job. So looking forward to this one.
Yes, you did.
Any other comments before we vote?
I had a customer today, and he has a car lot right there, kind of catty corner to that. And I said, you're in the most improved area of Holly Hill lately. He heard about it too, so.
There we go. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Now moving to, oh yeah, and you can let Roy know to come back in. We'll move down to our communications now. City Manager Joe Forte, do you have anything?
A couple of things I want to just update you on. Today I was informed that George Mirabal passed away. And for those that don't know, George was the long-standing executive director of the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. I've known him for...
They had a write-up in the paper.
Yeah, I thought that he was on a ventilator.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually passed away today. I actually saw him 2 weeks ago, and I was at a meeting in Deland and got to speak to him in the street when I was there. But also George's grandson is one of our firefighters. Many of you don't know that.
Yeah.
But
No, I didn't know that.
Austin Matranga is George's grandson.
Wow.
As of today, we have 12 officers that,
It's 12 now?
let me back that up and we'll just pass on that
Okay.
for now. We have pavers that are coming in for the Veterans Park. They're going to be coming in hopefully by the end of the week, so you'll start to see some construction getting done out there. So we're kind of happy with that. Trunk or treat this year, I'm not sure what you want to do, so it's going to come up at the chamber meeting tomorrow, so I figured let me bring it up here tonight and see what your thoughts are. We didn't do it last year. The year before we did it here on City Hall property, and it wasn't as well attended as it was in the park, and we can't do it in the park because there's just no place anymore. So I wanted to get your thoughts to see if you want to go ahead and do it again this year, like we did the year before, and still do it at City Hall property, and it'll be on that Friday. It's not on the 31st anymore, it's on the Friday before the 31st. So, just want to get your thoughts on that.
Here we go again this year. I mean, I don't want, I don't want to be the one to look like the bad guy, the Grinch, the,
I'm not saying the question is about COVID. I'm saying the question is about whether or not you want to do it on City Hall
I'd love to
property.
have it, but I can't say right now because, I mean, between us and our neighboring county, we're really hot spots right now. And with the kids going back to school next week, and now they're getting it and getting hospitalized, I just have concerns.
So we'll just plan for it at this point.
Yeah, that's all, Mayor. I just wanted
Yeah.
to have
Say hi.
my concerns heard, but I am for it, but maybe we can analyze a little closer to the date.
I feel like we're,
Anybody else?
It's like, yeah,
I feel like we've done this before.
man.
And the last thing I want to bring up is the 17th, the county council will be considering 6 applications for their SHIP match for affordable housing, for Florida Housing Finance Corp. money, where the county will be giving $460,000 to one of those 6 projects, of which we have 2 projects in that hopper. One is the 3rd Street Senior Housing Project, and the other is the Fountainhead Vistas at Fountainhead Project, which is a workforce housing project. It was very close on the timing of when all this stuff had to be in, and the city offered a letter of support to the project down at 3rd Street. And then when I notified Fountainhead that the applications were due, they actually had already submitted their application, but it didn't have a letter of support from the city.
Who did, the 3rd Street or the Synergy?
Synergy
Okay.
did not have a letter of support. So typically that goes into the package, but they have an opportunity under audience participation for people to speak on behalf of the projects. Well, I'm going to be out of town next week when this is coming up. I think it's on Thursday, the 17th. So unless somebody has any objection, I'd like to at least give them a letter that says for the past 5 years, the city has budgeted $50,000 toward the local match for that project as a sign of support, and they can take that and they can verbally present that. But this is the last year for that project, that workforce housing, and I think we should give it our
I
best
don't have a problem
effort
with that,
to move it forward.
Yeah, and to be clear, we did give a letter of support for the 3rd Street project.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
a
make
letter
sure
of
that-
support would have been given for the Synergy project, except I literally was asked about it the day before it was due, called them that afternoon, and Jeanette made contact with the owners, and they had actually already submitted a letter, so they really didn't even ask for it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we typically would have provided them a letter of support.
Okay, and is it a time certain on Tuesday, do you know?
It's item number 8 under the regular agenda, so I don't know when.
And that's not time certain, it's like just whenever they get to it. And their meetings have been
I was gonna say,
rolling
apparently-
on and on.
Last
Yeah.
meeting was,
So you could go at
I know
9 and
Jeanette
it's,
would like for someone from the city to be there to support the project.
that's why I'm asking, because I may try to be there. I'll call a couple of the council members to see if they know when it would be up.
Yeah,
I
I
just
know
don't
it's
want to get
item
there at
number-
9 and then be there till 3
Yeah,
for it
I know
to
it's
come up.
item 8, but that's,
Yeah, okay, I'll find
they
out,
might have an idea, though.
yeah.
Somewhere
But,
between.
yeah, but I don't see any objection, so we would appreciate you writing that letter of
okay,
support.
I'll do it tomorrow. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Forte. Mr. Simpson, anything for us?
No comments.
Okay. Mrs. Manning?
Man.
I just have a couple things. I saw actually Mr. Meyer was here from Synergy
Yeah.
Billing, and then he left, so I was going to recognize him because he couldn't make it to our last workshop. But today, the city manager and I visited Pictona and gave a tour to Congressman Michael Waltz, and he was blown away by the project. And it was kind of funny because when he came in and him and I were just speaking outside first, and he didn't realize how big pickleball was, and he said to me, "What is pickleball?" And I said, "You'll find out." And he was stunned to find out ESPN and CBS and all of these big sports organizations doing it. He was stunned to find out the amount of people that we had for the tournaments that we've had, the amount of memberships that have been going on, and he praised the project up and down, calling it a perfect public-private relationship, that we still own it, and that, contributions were made from, the Martins, and multi-millions of dollars. So it went really well. He actually jumped into a game with Rayner and Julie. Yeah, well, and I was on his team, so I jumped in, and we didn't look as good as the seasoned veterans, but it was a fun time. After that, Congressman Waltz went to SolarFit to look at their whole operations down there with Bill, and so I stopped in just briefly, and on behalf of the commission, thanked them for what they're doing over at YMCA. I'm sure you all know, you had the same email I got, that Mr. Gallagher and SolarFit they're putting solar panels on YMCA to heat the pool for us at no cost to us. So that's a really nice gesture for them to do. So it's great to see community members step up when there's a need, and just really appreciate it. So just wanted to give that report to you guys, and that's all I have from me. So tonight, we'll go to you, Mrs. Curry.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for introducing him over there, because that's something that I know all of us are proud of.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll come play a game. I can catch him in a game sometime.
There you go.
I don't have anything tonight. I know it's unbelievable, but I hope you all have a good next couple of weeks, and everybody try to stay safe.
Amen. Commissioner Daniel?
Wow.
I know, it's amazing.
I agree. Just thanks for coming, guys, and be with the teachers and the kids next week as we get into this next phase of life here.
My daughter starts school tomorrow.
Yeah, well, my wife's a teacher, so.
Yeah. Yep. Commissioner Johnson?
I just wanted to remind everybody to watch out for the new virus coming, because it could sneak up on you, because we've had so many people in our organization that's gone out with it. It's just unbelievable, and I know Joe has too with the police department. It's been really bad, but the main thing tonight, I just like to, I know I couldn't say anything about my project at the last meeting, but now that it's done, the city attorney has no objection. I could thank the city staff for all the work they put into making it work, and in the presentations that Brian put together and did for me. It's almost like he's selling the project for me, and I really appreciate it, Brian. And the city manager worked with him and all and got it gone, because, a few months ago, or not very many months ago, it was under code enforcement because of the tenant I had in there, and I had to evict a tenant, and that's not an easy thing to do, to evict a tenant that's been in there for a long time, and now we've really made an effort to really clean it up. Anybody that sees it now can see. I've spent in the last year probably $100,000 on it by putting a new
By
roof.
there today, it looks good.
Putting a new roof on it, new staircase, and painting it and everything. And that's just a drop in the bucket to what's coming. So it's going to be good. And the kids are always complaining when the weather's so bad sometime, they don't have any place to play baseball at all. And all the weekends, the fields are locked. They can't get into the fields or anything, nothing. So it's going to be so good for the kids to play baseball. They started at gymnastics, a couple of years ago now or something? Was it?
About a year. About a year.
And it's
A little bit over a year.
500 members.
Yeah.
If
Bursting
you build
at the
it, if you build
seams.
it, they'll come, right?
If you build it, they will come.
They will come.
Well, build a world-class facility and they'll come, and that's what that gymnastics center is. That's what it looks like your place is going to be,
It's gonna be.
and we haven't been able to talk about it, but thank you for obviously choosing our home here to, I know you've owned that building for how many years?
I built that in 1980 out of a wilderness.
At 1980.
Two-lane Nova Road, in all sugar sand and weeds and undergrowth and all that stuff, and I built it out of that, and I built it just strictly to work on heavy FPL equipment in there, and used it for a lot of years. I've used it for over 40 years now,
I'm grateful that you allowed this to happen at your building, so.
Now we're going to get away from away from so much automotive use for buildings and things and get into something that's good for recreation and
Yeah.
things like that for the kids to make it
About a zip line.
be good, huh?
Zip line. No, in the building.
Across Nova.
Cross Nova. All right. Is that all, Mr.
I
Johnson?
think that's all I have. And I
All
would just
right.
Be really, really careful of this virus going around now. I mean, it can be eliminated if everybody would just get the inoculation. I mean, so many diseases have been eliminated strictly by inoculations, and I don't know why so many people are against it, you know? But
Thank you very much. And we have these new staples. Like, I don't even understand this. Did you do this? Did you staple these?
Building and zoning, our copiers do that.
It crimps it.
I like that. I've never seen that. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Usually they're stapled. All right, with that, is there any further business before us?
Assumed it was stapled.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Pretty neat. Seeing no further business, we are now adjourned.